Welcome to our Gemini Tarot reading for January 2025, the year of the alchemist. Gemini, this message for you is arriving right on time. As I was pre-shuffling the cards, this is what I was picking up for you. I feel like January is going to open up with powerful movement in love, like conversations, decisions, and emotions that have kind of been like waiting beneath the surface. Spirit is offering you clarity where things may have felt split or uncertain. And for this January reading, we're going to move through two focused energies. First, we're going to talk about love, love, love. Um, and I'll go over the cards in a moment, and then we're going to talk about your money and career. I really want you to have all the information, um, so you can see exactly what's unfolding and how these areas will begin to influence each other as the month moves forward. I feel it, I know it. So Gemini, let's go to the cards and let's go to our spirit guides. Um, so for our tarot cards, first of all, we will open up with Mother Mary, which is an oracle card. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up our reading. For your love reading, we are going to use, of course, I brought out the romance angels. We will use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. And then we're going to use the Light Seers Tarot. So that will be love. For money, we're going to use the Gilded Tarot. I'm trying to think, where am I putting everything? And then we're going to use the Universal Tarot. And I will timestamp everything for you. Let's just move them over there. I'm going to bring down the lid and let's go ahead and get into your tarot reading. I say tarot reading, but tarot and spiritual reading. That's the way I feel like I should say it. All right, so let's start with Mother Mary. By the way, these, I'm very thorough, which does make the readings longer. But January, I know I don't normally split love and money. I do it together. But January 2026, I want you to be fully armed. Okay. So we're going to start with Mother Mary. But I am going to ask you just calm your own mind. Do a little deep breathing. Boy, I felt like I needed that breath. Just inhale the light, exhale the dark or the worry, whatever you want to call it. Trust your intuition and feel free to talk to your spirit guides throughout the reading. These readings, these tarot readings are really soul to soul. So you should truly feel it. What I always say, take what resonates, leave the rest. I should have said this is also for Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, or Gemini Rising. Certainly you could have a combination. You could have planets in the sign of Gemini. Many of you are intuitively guided. You may not know if you have Gemini. Don't even worry about that. If you clicked on the video, chances are there are messages here for you. And some of you are in love with a Gemini. I want to say good luck. And I say that about Virgo too, but I say that because I'm a Gemini moon with a Virgo sun. Double Mercury. All right. I'm going to be quiet now and shuffle. All of a sudden, I have goosebumps all over my body. And let me tell you, when I get goosebumps, I know it's my guides, our guides, because our guides are speaking. And look what just came out. Miracle. Beautiful. You know, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking miracles just don't fall out of the sky. I feel like often it's earned. You know what I mean? Like there's something, well, I know many of you have been working on your own vibration. So expect a miracle. Wow. I trust in God to know the perfect solution to this situation. And clearly, it's going to feel like a miracle. I love that for you. I love that. All right. I am going to keep that out. Why would I not? All right. Let's go to love. And again, I'm using the Light Seers Tarot. Everything is pre-shuffled. That really is when I am connecting with my guides, who then connect with all of your guides. That's why often you'll feel pulled to a reading, whether it be mine or someone else's. There could be a message that your guides really want you to hear. All right. I feel like you got to. Okay, there's two. They just felt like they wanted to stay. So let's begin. Oh, geez. All right, three swords. Now, don't freak out. It is the first card. You know, clearly, some of you have been dealing with this. Could be heartache, heart loss. Like someone that have broke up with you. Um, I don't feel like this is the energy that wants to stay. To be honest, I kind of feel like this is what you're clearing. And all of a sudden, spirit put in my mind, like, whoever broke that heart of yours, they don't know what they have done. And what do I mean by that? I mean, they lost a good person. And that's what you should carry. That's what my guides are saying. They lost a good person, and that's what you should carry. Some of you could have actually, like someone could have crossed over, let's just say, because we are now in the year one. What I've been talking about all 2025, we're here. We made it. And 2025 being a universal year 9, it was about reflection. It was about learning and growing, but spiritually. But spiritually, as I say spiritually, I also want you to understand the spiritual lessons, like what you're learning and how you're growing. It's only going to help you here on earth. It's only going to amplify your life, hence Mother Mary bringing out miracle. Okay. And then look at this, the 10 of Pentacles. Interesting. So this is really abundance. I call house of abundance, a house that truly can take root. This is a house that has a lot of creativity in it. All of a sudden, what was put into feels like my third eye was my grandchildren and like their gifts. So I just feel like, okay. And I also feel like there is someone, probably more than one. I feel like you carry certain abilities that a future or not a future, but a generation before you, if not a few removed, also carried. Like psychic, clairvoyance, something like that. I feel that. And I feel like it's just, I don't know that it's gonna, like every generation Okay, so yes, what I'm being told is yes, someone from every generation is also has these gifts. Now, they may choose not to develop them, which is their free will, or they may choose to develop them. So, interesting what information I just received about the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, we have the Death card, card of Scorpio. But you can see what it says here, death slash rebirth. You know, one of the first things my guides taught me was not to fear the death card. Death is truly a rebirth. Now, some of you, it could have been like, and I don't feel like, by the way, I don't predict like future, that type of thing. Like in the future, someone, no, I don't do that. I don't even want to say it, to be honest. It's funny because I remember years ago I watched someone's reading and she literally said that, you know, someone was going to die. And I thought to myself, how can you say that? How can you say that? You know what I mean? It bothered me deeply. So I would never do that. And I'm not saying, I don't know, I'm not judging her. By the way, I just realized the death card is 13. I knew that. But when you add the Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Swords together, 13. Interesting. Two of Wands. This makes me happy for you. Why? Because I feel like the Three of Swords, though, I'm not going to say that you feel completely healed, but I feel you're ready for movement. I love this image. This is a woman who's looking out the window. She's got her wand in her hand. It feels to me like a walking stick. She's got a globe, a map. She's ready to go on an adventure. Guess what? There's one wand. It's not coming with her. And I feel like that has to do with the Three of Swords. So some of you have made some real decisions. You may have left what you felt was a comfort of a home, but maybe it wasn't really that comfortable. And now you're looking forward. I like that. I even love this image because it's this little Volkswagen bus. And when I was growing up, this is what we had. Not my whole life or my whole childhood, but this is what we would take our vacations in. The whole family would get in it. Um, and I think why I'm bringing that up, some of you might be heading back to a place, like back to a place that brought you comfort. Okay, let's keep going. By the way, buckle in because these are not short readings, but they're not designed to be. They're designed to be very thorough. Two of Wands also is not a fear based energy. She may not know where she's going yet, but just the thought that it feels like she's ready, I feel like is enough. And I mean that from a spiritual point of view. Like, I feel like her spirit guides will be right there beside her. And when I say her, it can also be him. I know there's both females and males here, and I want to read for you equally. Um, so let's see what comes with it. Look at this. Look at this. This is the Four of Swords. This is healing. Look what she did. Like her heart is outside of her body. And I couldn't wait to see what was mirroring the Three of Swords. So when I say, I feel like many of you, this has already happened. I know it's already happened. Like that, I have no doubt. But now I feel like you're moving closer and closer to thinking about your future again. Whether you have anyone in mind, and remember, we're doing love right now. So whether there's someone in mind or Two of Wands, I feel like I'm just ready to go on an adventure. It's Strength card. Makes sense, right? Wasn't easy to overcome. It's not easy to overcome a broken heart. We all go through it. And sometimes I feel like the best, I feel like the best advice I can give you is to think back and think about other people you were with and how when it ended, you probably felt the same way, right? But then what happened? Eventually, you moved into the Two of Wands energy and you fell in love again. So sometimes we feel like, this is it. This is the end. And it may be the end of one thing. But listen, the Death card is telling you it is the beginning of something new. Even if it's something old, because for some, like I do feel this sense of I may be moving to a place that at one time brought me comfort, and I could see some of you going on, boy, I feel like someone is going on like a healing retreat. So, anyways, the Strength card. Number one is a card of Leo. And I love this image showing this woman as half lion, half woman. Power. Strength card is about our inner being, our inner workings. You know what I mean? The things that we need to overcome. It's the shadow and the light that we all carry. And it's not about eliminating either one. It's about balancing them. And that's what you're doing in the Strength card. I love this little baby lamb. Gentle as a lamb. Look how her heart is also outside of her body. Interesting. There's like a theme here. So, also, this is a number 8, but look at her tattoo. And I know someone has that tattoo. I feel it. Someone has that tattoo. This is the infinity number. As above, so below. No beginning, no end. It really is a reminder that you have been here before. You have lived many lifetimes. And you have the wisdom of all those lifetimes. It is within. And sometimes we don't know that until we go through something difficult and then come out the other end. Like, when you, let's just say, find this balance or, you start looking forward, I feel like what you've earned is the badge of courage. And you never lose that. You never lose that. It feels like someone is leaving a home. And maybe I didn't have a choice. Or maybe that was my choice. But I feel like your guides are behind you. Because I feel like this rebirth they're speaking of And then the Two of Wands, where I feel like this is you. You know, in the Two of Wands, you don't like, it's just such a gentle energy. And what I mean by that is she's not letting fear have any effect within her decision making. It doesn't mean she's completely healed. You know, I don't know that we ever are. But that's not stopping her or him. So, major arcana so far, you have Scorpio and Leo. And then we have the Page of Swords. Look at this. Look at this image. I love this image. She's reading from a book. And this book is giving her idea after idea after idea. She's walking this tightrope. But it's like, I've been there. I've done that. Now I can walk this tightrope while reading a book. I feel like what this is saying to you is there's going to be different things that are going to pique your interest, and potentially you're following them. You know, I get this sense that you outgrew a relationship and you can't make someone else be what you want them to be, right? They just have to be that. It's their choice. But it's your choice whether you accept that energy or not. And I feel probably for a while, you know, and let's say someone broke it off with you. And I hope that you understand, I mean this in a loving way. They did you a favor. They did you a favor. It's interesting how when I was shuffling cards, Spirit said to me that love and money were going to be intertwined. And we're in a love reading, but it's really speaking right now about these ideas and epiphanies that you're going to receive, like new directions, new ways. And again, it's going to pique your interest. So you're going to want to learn more and more and more. And it doesn't have to be through a book, you know? Like for some of you, you may watch this reading and be like, I really want to learn how to read tarot. And so it begins, right? I just needed that idea, that want. And so it begins. King of Pentacles in reverse, unfortunately. But under the death card, and it's like this card, you know, I have a rule at the table. This is something I set with my guides, that if a card is, what the heck is that noise? If a card is meant to be, it will come out on the table. Even if it goes to the floor, I'm fine with that. I feel like that even puts more power behind it. Um, but if a card flips around in the deck, I will also take that. But this one, it's like, do I take it? I feel like I have to. The Three of Wands. Wow. Under the Two of Wands. This is optimism. This is gratitude. This is being in the present moment. So you're not focusing on the past anymore, which is perfect. This is you saying to your spiritual team, I know my miracle. will arrive. In the meantime, maybe what you're doing is working on your creative self. Some of you, I feel like you're going on a vacation. You are, I mean, she's got a surfboard in her hand. Um, I definitely feel like I have a few people going on like a healing retreat. But here's the thought and here's the action. This is merely taking a step, by the way. Now, unfortunately, the King of Pentacles came in reverse. And I do not like the King of Pentacles in reverse. And I know the King of Pentacles very well. Normally, well, let's just put it this way. In the upright, loyal, trustworthy, stable. Usually has their shit together. Person very laid back. But I have a feeling that worked against them. Because in reverse, loyalty goes out the window. Stability, where? Some of you, I feel like you dealt with someone who is very stingy with money. And that may be why we're seeing the Ten of Pentacles. You know, I could have lived in a good house. Maybe a great house. But what good is it if there's no love in that house? You know, we could have got the Ten of Cups, but we got the Ten of Pentacles instead. And then here's this king holding this big pentacle like it's mine. This is mine. Well, this miracle, it's meant for you. And this king coming under the death card, I don't feel like this is someone who's crossed over. I feel like this is someone who's done you wrong. But I also feel like this is you. You know, interesting because I feel like did Spirit not say that? Um, well, where things have felt split or uncertain. But here, in the 2 and 3 of Wands, you're pretty certain. Okay, let's keep going. This is interesting. High Priestess, your intuition. You're following your intuition. That's beautiful. You're trusting in your intuition. And it's mirroring the Strength card. Some of you, that's really what you've been working on. You know, these epiphanies that I feel like you're going to receive. And let me say this also, because I do feel like, you know, yeah, I might have had a nice house and there could have been plenty of money, but I didn't get it. Because I do feel like this king stingy. I don't know, I went like that, but could be someone who's like the thought, like, you know, like I tell you what to do. Well, good luck telling Gemini what to do for long. Right? You only take it for so long. So your intuition is really being called here. It's 2 and 3 of Wands. It makes perfect sense. And what I love about that, it's like you can give away the worries. You don't have to carry it anymore. Your intuition is going to lead you, but it's leading your heart. Follow that instinct. I feel like in the 2 of Wands, someone is thinking of a place, a time, a person. And I feel like it's safe. to follow that instinct. I feel like the king, I do feel like that door needed to close. Because I feel like someone who wanted to control you. And I know that would only work for so long. You're the one who ended up with the Three of Swords, but you are also the one who ended up with the healing. Some of you with the heart outside of the body over and over, you could have been, you might be saying to yourself, I'm not ready for love. Well, in the Two of Wands, just think of adventure. Like, what adventure do you want to go on? All right, she's on the bottom of the deck. Wow. Surprise, surprise. Justice. Cutting of ties. What does that do for you? It balances you. It balances your energy. It makes you whole again. I know what the sword is being used for. This king. Enough is enough. Heart of Libra also. Look at that. Okay, that makes sense. And look at that. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when I start picking up cards. And, okay, I'm going to stop here. The Five of Wands tells me there's a lot of drama, fighting. This can be the energy of no one wanting to back down. And then we get the Four of Cups, which is discontentment and boredom within your emotional world. It's interesting. Boredom, I don't know if that would be the right word, but it's pretty clear. I feel that you feel enough is enough. So, in the Four of Cups, though, it is about a cup coming in. And the meaning of the card is learning to use your spiritual discernment. Well, that's why the High Priestess is also here. So, I have to say, it's telling us that you weren't happy there anyway. And then the Fool. Well, we can just call the Fool the Two of Wands. This is brand new. This is clear energy. This is the perfect energy for the magician's energy, which you are. Remember, we are all the alchemists this year. What do you want to manifest? The Fool puts the past in the past, extracted the wisdom. And this is what makes the Fool so carefree. It's really a beautiful energy. But to be free, I got to use this sword. Whether it's physical ties or energetic ties. And, Justice's job in a reading, I was going to say a personal reading. So for some of you, this may feel like a personal reading. But Justice's job is to make you whole again. That's exactly what's happening here. Okay, let's bring in the crystal vision and let's go deeper. Slide those right there. Interesting, the only card in reverse is the King. And by the way, it can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. But it doesn't have to be. I just feel like it's someone who, well, I hate to even say it, but with the King in reverse, I can't trust him. I feel like this is someone, And I don't want to harp on this person because I feel like this is about moving forward. Um, and that's what I'm going to do. Judgment. Your spiritual team over the Three of Swords. They know. They know. They know that you've gone through this heartache. They know. And they are your sense of comfort. They walk beside you every step of the way, especially through the hardship. Some of you lately, and I feel like this is a message I'm just picking up, you felt like a shoulder or a hand on your shoulder, a light touch, or a light stroking of your hair. It's your spiritual team, but I feel like it's someone in particular. So judgment has a message, and it is calling you to the present moment. And much like the death card tells you, there's about to be a rebirth. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. But it does need your attention in the here and now as the Fool. Now, as soon as I said that, what popped in my head was, even if you're still broken, your guides know that. But they're here to help you through this. All right. The Three of Wands over the Ten of Pentacles. I feel like I feel like your guides are saying, there could have been plenty of money or, I don't know, nice furnishing or whatever in this house, but it was material things. And I feel like what your spiritual team is saying is you will recoup that, right? You'll have a house of your own. You'll buy things that will be in your name. You know what I mean? And it will be yours. Like no one can take it from you type of energy. So, don't. And I know I already feel it. Like when I stop like that, I feel that you're talking to me. There's people out there saying, well, there's people out there saying that they don't want to leave certain things behind. And I get that. I feel like what you're talking about is like right now I feel like things that may have been like handed down to you or things, and again, things is the clue. Things. This is what your spiritual team is trying to say. These things, they're just things. But there are, like this box I have here. This has been handed down generation after generation after generation. And when I go, it will be handed down to my daughter. And then hopefully she hands it down to her daughter, one of her daughters. Anyway, Two of Pentacles. Huh. Okay. So some of you may be still in that mode of, do I allow this to end? Do I stop thinking about this and start thinking about me and my potential? Two of Pentacles, they do call it the Juggler's card. But it means that there will be a question posed to you. But for some of you, the question may have been whether to stay with someone or to go. But I feel like that question is being answered with the Two of Wands. 22, by the way. 22. and it's interesting because two is very much about love and partnerships, soulmates. Do I feel like this king was your soulmate? I don't, unless he was a karmic soulmate. Again, he or she. All right. I don't know why I'm going so slow. Well, interesting. The Empress is in reverse. Hmm. And then we have Page of Cups. Okay. I feel like some of you have a mother figure. And I'm saying mother figure because it can be a grandma. And it's interesting because it is like this mother figure had certain gifts that she is now trying to give you. Now, I feel like this is someone who's crossed over. And because I don't feel the Empress as like the reversal of the Empress, I am picking this up very clearly as gifts that are being, or maybe it's the remembrance of these gifts. And some of you, again, you may not even know. Like you may be saying, Sandy, what the hell are you talking about? Well, you will know. And I feel like this is what this page is about. And here you are healing. So some of you, you may have lost your mother, let's just say within the last 9 years. Because I feel like, you know, I feel like there's my baby girl, or there's my baby boy. But it's healing. It's healing of that inner child. And the Page of Cups is mirroring judgment. Now, I also want to say, who better to set you up? Well, I don't know. Some may disagree with this. But I feel like than a mother or a mother figure because they know you so well. But yet I could see some like, and I know that's not for everyone. However, as I say that, I feel like it's for a lot of you. And I want to well, I don't want to remove it, but I want to say this does not have to be a mother for everyone, but I definitely feel that there are gifts being wakened up within you. And these are gifts that you've always had, probably in every lifetime. And I have a feeling you're going to start honing in on them. Like they're going to start revealing themselves. Your intuition being a big one. What you want to remember with your intuition is it is also a gift. It is our GPS to use in this lifetime to help us move with certainty. It's when we second guess it, and by the way, your spiritual team doesn't judge you. I don't judge you ever. I don't look at this and be like, oh, bad Gemini. Never. Nor does your spiritual team. Doesn't mean we don't want the best for you, but it doesn't come through judgment. So please know that. I don't know why I'm saying that, other than someone may feel that. Justice. Now it's over the strength card. And I feel like your spiritual team, some of you may have had a hard time. Like maybe you were married and maybe you have the belief that you only marry once. Well, that's what we hope for. But let's face it, that's usually not the case. I don't even know what the statistics are, but I don't feel like they're good. But I feel like your spiritual team is just saying that we agree with your decision. So part of me feels like they may have put that in your mind, in your heart. That's what I was supposed to say, your heart. Why? There's an adventure waiting for you. There is an adventure waiting. And it is being spiritually guided. And we're doing love. So even if you're not ready for love, because I feel that for some, because our spirit guides are involved, I know it's going to be a soulmate. I feel like that's why I saw that 22. But I already knew it anyway. You know, you can't have a miracle and then have a low vibrational energy at the same time. And let's face it, I feel like for probably a lot of you, especially if you clicked on this channel, that means the chances are you've also been working on your own vibration. You know, you're learning energy. You're learning that your intentions are like 9/10 of the law of what's going to come back. I have positive intentions, and then I'm willing to put action behind it. That's when you see amazing results. Double Libra, by the way. Okay. The Devil in reverse. Now, because the King of Pentacles is right there, for some of you, it could certainly be a Capricorn. But let me tell you, I could not be happier to see the Devil in reverse. Because the Devil, and when I say the Devil, let's just say shadow. Well, no, let's say the Devil. So the Devil was great at casting illusions, making you feel stuck, making you feel like if you made a move, horror waits. But that's not true. Again, it's an illusion. And you're breaking through that. It's like you just cleared the cobwebs. And that's going to set you free. That sets your mind and your heart free. So someone who had a lot of weight over you no longer does. And even though there is sadness on the table, it's also showing you overcoming that. It's also showing that grip loosening. You know, like I could see a lot of you having Reiki done because Reiki is great for those, like, what's the word I want to use? Like those claws that are stuck in you. Reiki can help remove that. And I don't know that much about Reiki, but something is telling me to say that. Okay. You have a lot of major arcanas. By the way, I have to tell you, Gemini, usually when I do the monthly readings, there's one sign that seems to show up in a lot of different, like a lot of other signs readings, and that's you this month. You showed up a lot. We have the Knight of Wands. Movement. Fast movement. I feel like when you made up your mind, you made up your mind. And that's that. I feel like once you made up your mind, to me, it feels like there's no looking back. Done. Adios. Ciao. Ciao, baby, ciao. I got places and people to meet. So, this night, it is fast moving. It does carry passion. And it's connected to these wands. Two of Pentacles above it. Feels like at this moment, you're feeling something. Someone's making you feel something. It is of passion. And this is why the Two of Pentacles is you. You know, that's the one thing Spirit has taught me, is the ball will always be put in our court. You know, I mean, we can't control everything, but the things we can, the ball is put in our court. So we can say yes, we can say no. But what I love is because the devil's now in reverse. That means this lower energy is yesterday's news. Or, for some of you, soon will be. Hello, Nine of Cups. Hello, Inner Harmony. And hello, Fulfillment of Wishes. You know, how interesting. We open the reading feeling down, hurt, sad. But as we start moving through this reading, we're feeling better and better and better. This tells me that at this point, you use that sword. To me, the Nine of Cups is freedom. I do feel like it's singular, but this is inner harmony. But then also fulfillment of wishes. Right over the Three of Wands, connecting to the Two of Wands. With this beautiful, what I feel like is a spirit guide, helping. Hello, King of Swords. So this could be you. It's interesting though, because it is mirroring justice, so it could be, could also be Libra. We do have double Libra. But listen, if it's Libra, this is not about justice. I'm not tying them together because of that. Because this king's in the upright. And I have a feeling some of you are thinking about this king. So you may already know who this is. And how long between where, you know, again, I feel 9 is singular. But what are you doing in that 9? You are finding that inner harmony. And in that Two of Wands, where you are dreaming about what you want to do, where you want to go, what is next, you're doing it in the perfect type of energy. And it's answering those prayers. Again, miracle. I know I have a little covered up there. All right, I want to go below also. Let's kind of move these in the middle. And let's go right below. And then I'm going to bring in the romance angels. Interesting. The Five of Cups. Now, keep in mind that we saw the Four of Cups, right? Discontentment, boredom, not happy within your emotional world. Five of Cups, this is what I'm focusing on, right? I'm focusing on the cups that have been knocked over, the cups that haven't worked out, the cup that did break my heart. But this is a 5, and it asks for change. So it's saying, you know, especially because it's mirroring judgment, like we get it, we understand. But boy, do we have a surprise for you. Now, here comes the soulmates. Because when this person, and I have a feeling it is tied back to justice, and this doesn't have to be a marriage. It doesn't have to mean like I'm getting a divorce. It can be. Um, it's just cutting ties. But there are two cups behind this person. And that is a representation of your soulmate. And just look how it's coming above, right? It's not down here in the dark, it's above. Interesting. I just noticed the moon could have something also related to, like, this looks like a new moon. New you, new moon. Strength card makes sense there also because you had to overcome. I feel like I probably didn't have a choice. I just had to overcome. Okay. But I feel for a few of you, there could be someone that's on your mind because I felt that up here. Someone that's on your mind. But I also want to say for some of you, I feel like you have no idea this is coming in. Wow. Seven of Pentacles. Huh. Another one of my favorite cards, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Seven of Pentacles does ask for patience. But this tree you see, to me, this is your tree of life. These seeds, these pentacles on this tree, are your soul seeds of intention. These are seeds that you planted or are planting. Some of them predestined to meet and come together at a certain time in our life. And I have to say, oftentimes, it's not in the beginning. Well, I shouldn't say that because, I mean, Sam and I are soulmates slash twin flames, and we did come together as teenagers, but then broke up, but reconnected 40 years later, and now we live together. So I never leave anything off the table because I know all is possible. But it doesn't mean all is good for us. Seven of Pentacles asks you to make sure you're planting seeds. And you don't need to stand over them, right? Think of like planting a garden. You're going to plant those seeds where the sun is going to be able to nurture them. You're going to water those seeds. And what's going to happen when you nurture them? They're going to grow and they're going to blossom. And then I feel like, and then they set off new seeds. I feel like the Seven of Pentacles tells you this is meant to happen. Some of you, I feel like this is predestined. But when I do see the Seven of Pentacles, I also feel like everything that's happened was meant to happen. Why? Why? Why was the Three of Swords meant to happen? I can't tell you exactly why because it's different for different people. But I know one thing, it's for your growth. And I know as you evaluate yourself and your life, you'll notice that. Like that's a pattern I feel like you'll be able to pick up on. So, what does that mean? It means the things that have happened have taught you well, right? Like the Three of Swords mirrored by the Four of Swords. How long did it take before the healing process started? Well, the way I look at it is the healing process has started. No matter how long it's taken, here we are. And for many of you, it is your inner child. But again, I want to bring you back to the Nine of Cups, because that is your inner harmony and your fulfillment of wishes. And coming over the Three of Wands, I feel like, boom, you'd be ready to step forward. All right. It's almost like it was a test. Gemini. How about the Knight of Cups? How interesting. You have the Knight of Wands above it, and now the Knight of Cups. This, my friends, is an unexpected cup of fulfillment. This is love. This is love. This is love coming your direction, or you're going towards it. Let's just put it this way. It'll just connect. However it connects, it'll connect. And mirroring that Two of Pentacles, you're going to decide. So, again, it is unexpected, but it is fulfillment. And then you get the Knight of Wands above that. Passion. Like undeniable. That may be something you want to, and I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about the energy between two people. Like the chemistry that I can't deny it. I may try. Some will say no. But others, you're going to move into it. And how do I love that the Knight of Pentacles or the Knight of Cups is following the Seven of Pentacles, your tree of life. Like this is meant to happen. And this feels like it's divine timing. You know, let's put it this way. You now know what you don't want in love. You now know what you need in love. And I feel like for many of you, it's loyalty. It's someone I can trust. It's someone I can count on. I don't feel like you had that. But I feel like you're about to have it. And I don't feel like it's this King of Pentacles. I don't know, some may have wish, but again, don't think about the sign. Just think about the love. Another knight. Knight of Swords. Potential communication. Again, we know it's unexpected. Coming over the Nine of Cups. You know, I do not like talking about myself in a reading. I really don't. But when I see the similarities of my life in a reading, I feel like I have to. Because I feel like my experiences, especially the hard ones, can help another. That's why I always say use the comment section, share your story. You never know who you're helping. So, what is my point anyway? Some of you, I feel like you're at home. You're in your wherever you are at this point. But again, you pretty much have inner harmony. I'm not going to say like, well, I do feel like you're feeling pretty good there. And the question may be, do I want to interrupt that? Like, I'm feeling pretty good on my own. Maybe it's been a long time. And then I feel like, ring, ring. Ring, ring. That was my attempt at a telephone. Look at these knights. Okay. This is what you need after what you've been through. truth. This is your own truth, but I feel like it's also someone else's truth. I feel like some of you in the near future, depending on where you're at in the reading, someone may reach out, and that may be why I'm talking about Sam and I, because that's what he did. And let me tell you, it freaked me out, but it changed my life. This ace with the beautiful roses growing up at truth. Truth shall set you free. And not only that, it's coming over the high priestess, your intuition. For some of you, that's really a lesson you have learned, is to really trust your intuition. This king over here in reverse, chances are there were red flags. And again, this is not to judge you, because we all, especially in the beginning of our life, ignore those red flags. Like the man that I married when I was 19, boy, I had red flag after red flag. I did it anyway. And boy, do I regret that. Well, not that I regret that. I shouldn't say that, because I had two beautiful children. But it taught me what I don't want and what I need in love. Honesty. This king wasn't giving it to you. This king. And I always tell you that a knight is sent by a king or a queen, and they will complete their mission. Whether it's accepted or not is up to whoever they're reaching. I feel like there's going to be a conversation. It's interesting, because I feel like you're at home, but for some, I feel like it feels like somewhere new, but very comforting at the same time. I feel like it's nighttime and your phone rings. And it may be someone who heard that Gemini is single. Gemini left him or her. Maybe, just maybe, she or he will consider me now. I feel like some of you know who this is, because I feel like you know each other's younger energy. And that's why I'm talking about Sam and I. We had to get to know each other again as adults. I knew nothing of him as an adult, so we spent 5 years on the phone, but every single day and night. I mean, he would call me at work, and I'd be like, "You can't call me at work. I have to talk. I want to talk to you." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're getting me in trouble." But the reason I'm saying this is, never did I expect it. Yet it still happened. And if there was anyone in my past who was going to call me, that I would want to call me, it would have been him. It is him. And I had all kinds of fear. Stupid fear. And many of you know the stories. So I'm not going to go into it. We actually did a podcast talking about how we reconnected. And I did put it on YouTube. So I hope, it didn't get a lot of views on YouTube, but on my podcast site, it did. But that's not why we did it. We really did it for you. I want people to know that things happen that you never expect will happen. And that's kind of what I feel is happening here. I want to, I think I want to come and look at this. Part of me is like, do you really, Sandy? Yeah, I do. I want to look at this night. Actually, I want to look at the group of knights because they all came together. See if we can get a little more, clarity. Here's another page. All right, let's take what's face up first. So we have the Page of Pentacles. And to me, the Page of Pentacles is, it can be a person, but let's talk about you first because this tells you that what you've been through and what you're still going to be going through, it's all about learning, like growing on a spiritual level. This person's very laid back, though. This is not like, I mean, this kind of is like a classroom, Earth, but it's not like school. You know what I mean? You learn at your own pace. These epiphanies that I felt this other page have, that's you, and I have a feeling we're going to see that in your money. So everything has been a learning experience. Then we have the Eight of Cups, freeing your emotional self from what was, allowing yourself to have this new beginning. I know you do it because we have the Nine of Cups. Oh my God. Hello, marriage card. Hello, love. You know, yeah, that Ten of Pentacles, it was nice for a little while. This, this is true love. This is true respect of each other. It's honoring each other. Look at how he's putting her in this beautiful white horse. Pure. Pure intentions. And then the Two of Swords. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It's actually happening. What do I do? Follow your intuition. This is a fear-based energy. Now, it's only the two. It's not the 8, it's not the 9, and it's not the 10. And I say that because I feel like this is easier to overcome. And, truth be told, it can feel like butterflies. Like when Sam reached out, my heart instantly was fulfilled. But that didn't mean I didn't have fear because when he asked me to move in with him, all of a sudden, like I worried about everything, stupid stuff. Stuff that when I did move in, again, took me 5 years, but that was my divine timing. Um, None of it, none of the fears I had developed. Is that what I want to say? Like the things I feared, I didn't need to. But I did move through it. That's the thing. Moving through it anyway. I feel like I don't know that I could ask for anything better as it relates to your love life. And I know that what you've been through has not been easy. It's very clear, and your guides know that. Some of you, I'm telling you, there is somewhat like this is how our guides work. when we're dealing with love, there's certain guides who they would be like, step out of the way, that's my expertise. Or I want to be the one who helps her or him as it relates to love. And then when money comes up, there could be a different guide or a group, you know what I mean? Who's ever, I guess, for lack of better words, specialty it is, that's who will step forward. This is all being guided to you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when it comes for you? The illusions, gone. Reality, here. Present moment, that may be the hardest, but that's probably the most important. Your intuition, that's what you want to trust. When you don't know yourself, your intuition will sing. You just sometimes have to have that quiet mind, even in the middle of chaos. But here's the thing. That's not what I'm feeling. I don't even know why I'm saying that. Because I feel the majority of you, I don't know how long it's going to take before you, and because this is free will, before you end up in that Nine of Cups energy. It is you who put yourself there. And it's interesting because you may have thought to keep this relationship open, but with the King of Pentacles in reverse, I'm telling you, and I love that the Devil came in reverse. There are no more illusions. Your spiritual team is like, we are going to make it clear. Okay, let's bring in the romance angels, or we will be here all day. I know some of you don't mind that, and I'm like that. I haven't watched another tarot reading in such a long time. Oh, look at this. Kind of just jumped out. Hello, past life relationship. Look at that chemistry. You have known each other before. Look at that. It's interesting because I keep saying I want to do a past life reading, but I still have I want to make sure everyone's sign is done for January. And then I promise I will do a past life reading. Because you'll be in there. You have known each other before. This is not your first lifetime together. You are soulmates, no doubt. Some may be twin flames. But I'm going to ask you, don't search for a twin flame. If it's meant to be, it will be. And don't put up with bullshit because you think someone is your twin flame. Again, if it's meant to be, it'll be. And I know every time I say that, but that's because I know some think twin flames are the ultimate. Well, twin flames, if you haven't, twin flames are the mirrors to each other's soul. And it can be very difficult. It can be very loving. But if there's energy left to be cleared, oh, you're going to know it. But now, I want to kind of forget that, and I want to go back to just love. Chemistry. All right, let's see if anything else wants to come out with this. Huh. How many times did I say this word? Chemistry. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. Well, I already know you won't be able to deny it. I mean, you may deny, you may say no, but the chemistry, I know you're going to feel it. Flirt. Flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others, but really to this person. Interesting how long it took to get to this energy, but that's real life. You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to be, in different, some may still be in that Three of Swords and trying to heal from that. And your advice may be try to continue to move forward even though, because you will heal. When this enters, I have a feeling this is part of the miracle. You're not going to think about the King of Pentacles again. It's not going to be part of your life. Let's say that he's the father of your children or the mother of your children. You still have to deal with them, but they don't hold that power over you anymore. Why? Because you reclaimed it. You stop putting your focus on everything they're doing wrong, and you put your focus on how you want your life to look. And your spiritual team, my God, are they doing their part? This Two Cups in the Five of Cups, that's your past life love. And this is really a beautiful opportunity to love again. Now, this will be different. This will be different than any love that you've probably experienced in this lifetime. There are levels to love. Four of Wands. That's forever. Or it's meant to be. Wow. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead. And by the way, I have a feeling, just the way that what I was feeling was pre-shuffling your cards, that this something is going to follow. Like this love is going to follow in your money sector. We'll see how, but that's what I heard. So let's pick these up. All right. Now we can put Mother Mary here, and I want to give her a crystal. Let's put the romance angels away. Okay. So, money and career. We're going to use the Universal Tarot. Oh, I got cold all of a sudden. By the way, the reason why I shuffle them is because I like to shuffle them with you here also. One more. I just didn't love that first shuffle. Give him a cut. Oh. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Hangman. Ten of Swords. The Chariot. The Three of Cups. Already look at the change of energy. The movement away from the Ten of Swords. Let me tell you, the Ten of Swords I often feel is like a repeat pattern. Could be because I feel like I see these swords coming. I mean, this person is face up. And it is like the law of attraction. I expect a dagger, and I'll be damned. I get another dagger. But it can also be a karmic loop and an opportunity to break that loop for eternity. I feel like the hangman was you questioning whether you should stay or go. Now, this is money, but I do have to say, I feel like this is also talking about love. It's talking about your life. And then we have the Chariot. First of all, it is card of Cancer, but this speaks of unlimited potential. The Chariot, like justice, does need balance. And it is your intentions that tell the Chariot where to go. So if you believe you have unlimited potential, then so be it. So don't believe that. Believe that you have unlimited potential. You just haven't tapped into it yet. Some of you have, though. Some of you have. Because in the Three of Cups, you're celebrating. And that is the meaning of the card. Rejoice in celebration. It is the energy of joy. Let me tell you, some of you may have been in a job where it had been like one issue after another. You may have dealt with, well, again, you're the one who's taken the daggers. But I feel like this is you and the hangman seeking wisdom on whether to stay or go. And then the Chariot, well, that kind of answers that question. But then right away, a reason to celebrate. Again, it makes me feel, here comes the second part of our miracle. But I want you to know that you earned this. All right, we're going to do 5 across. Look at that, the 10 of Wands. Okay, mirroring the hangman. Okay. All right, they both came in reverse, so I'm going to leave them in reverse. We have the Page of Pentacles. And then we have the 4 of Cups in reverse, which is good. I feel like some of you probably have said to yourself, I'm not really learning anything here. I'm not really growing. I'm not growing to my full potential. And I want to. Some of you are developing those gifts. But I definitely feel the energy of something feeling like it's just too much. This 10 of Wands, it does speak about heavy responsibilities, but it talks about it all landing on your shoulders. It's like this person feels like they have to carry all the wands on their own. That does not make a happy workplace. Not only that, but maybe every time you try to speak your piece, it's shut down. So some of you are making the decision to either look for new jobs, start your own thing, I feel like whatever it is, well, let's continue. We'll find out. Tell us more, tell us more. Interesting. The Tower in reverse. How interesting is all these cards, the second row, are coming in reverse. But I like the Tower is in reverse because I feel like what it's saying is if you decide to make a change, you're not going to feel the energy of the Tower. Chances are you're giving the Tower, you're giving your notice. I feel like some of you are just tired of being taken advantage of. It's like the wisdom and what you bring to the table. Someone is not valuing what you bring to the table, and that's a shame because you bring a lot to the table, but they may be taking advantage of that. Like they know that you do, but do they recognize that? I feel like this year there will be more self created businesses than ever before. And this is not coming from me, this is coming from our guides. Why? Because people are trusting more and more in themselves. People are learning that our energy, really dictates so much. We have the Five of Pentacles. So there's a change. I feel like someone is saying, I don't like where I'm at. I don't feel respected. Quite the opposite. I feel like it's all work, no fun. I mean, I know it's work, but still, there should be some joy to it. But I don't feel there is. Temperance. Beautiful. So, Temperance, her first message, patience. And I feel like what she's saying is just know what you want next, know what it is you want to manifest, and it shall be done in its divine timing. But divine timing doesn't mean that we are always waiting on the universe to supply us with, let's say, this miracle. Sometimes divine is waiting on us. Often. And again, not with judgment. Like when you're ready, you're ready. And when you're ready, I'll be here. I feel like Temperance with the five right before, it was probably, like a change really needed to happen for something else to open up. So let's see what's on the bottom of the deck. Look at that, there's that Five of Cups again. Interesting. Four of Wands under that. Okay. I feel like for some of you, it's been hard to separate my personal life from my working life. It just kind of combines, right? Like, I'm not happy at home. Then I go to work. I'm not happy at work. Or when I'm at home, or I'm at work, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on at home. It doesn't feel good. But it feels like all of it can change. Again, maybe the word is boldness. The boldness to take these chances, right? We only have so long on this earth. And our souls want to experience everything, not just love, but creativity and what I can build in the world. All right. Interesting that the hangman is first and temperance is the last card. Both of them speak of patience. The hangman, though, is you putting a pause in the action, but not for nothing. You are seeking spiritual wisdom, and here is divine answering you. I do feel like for a few of you, like literally, your home life is also affecting your work life. But I feel it in a sense of like, even when I'm at work, I feel sad. Or maybe I don't know what's going on at home in that way. And therefore, like I could see picking up the phone, like, what are you doing? Makes me wonder, does that king even have a job? Hello, star. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And by the way, this person is naked because she's being her authentic self. She wants to live her authentic life. Miracles, wishes coming true. Over the hangman, it is like divine is speaking to you. You know, we can usher in, and I'm speaking as your guides, we can usher in energy, but we can't make you take that step. That has to come from you, but that is how you get your growth. And it's not that divine is saying, if you have it hard, which this looks hard, that they don't want to help you. But your free will decisions many times become our lessons. We have the Page of Cups again. By the way, the star is also a card of Aquarius. Temperance. Look at that. There's that king again. Temperance card of Sagittarius. But then again, Eight of Cups. Moving on up to the east side. This is you. You're searching for emotional clarity. And we know you're going to find it. This is you walking away. But where are you walking to? The Nine of Cups. We already saw it. How beautiful that it feels like your money and love are aligning beautifully. Eight, it's you allowing a new beginning in your life. And then, well, hello, King, who was in our love sector, who I really felt was the one coming in. And I am not thinking about signs. You can, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Um, the reason why I say that is because, yes, they may have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius somewhere in their chart, but we all probably do. And, I don't want you, like, let's say a Cancer comes up to you and it just feels like, oh my gosh, this feels like my perfect person. Oh, wait a minute. Sandy said it was an air sign. I can't go out with you. That's why. The Four of Pentacles. Huh. The Ace of Wands. Oh my gosh. The World. And I will come back and we'll talk about, oh my gosh, each and every one of these. The Three of Pentacles. Wow. Why am I saying wow? First of all, let's start at the Four of Pentacles that is mirroring the star. I feel like the Four of Pentacles speaks of one's foundation and creating a strong foundation. I feel like this Ace of Wands is the inspiration that page in our last reading was receiving. And then the World. The World means something has come to completion, but something new is opening up. And in the World's energy, I often feel like your spirituality, oh, it's intact. It's leading you. You're walking hand in hand with your spirituality. This is the Fool in the middle. It is dancing. Right over the energy of dissatisfaction. And then we move into the Three of Pentacles. Well, my friends, that is your authentic self. That is your creative self. It's a reminder that what you do well. And I have to say also, this also feels for some of you working from home. Now, in the Three of Pentacles, it's not only about you being your authentic self, creating from your authentic self, but it's about other people appreciating that part of you. I don't feel like you had that. But now once we allow this to complete in the world, the new energy to open, it's celebrating you and who you are and what you bring to the table. It feels like an opportunity to do something that truly lights your fire. I won't say it won't be hard work, but I feel like you'll love what you're doing. And some of you, here we go with honing in on those abilities. Some of you may know that you have them, but chose not to really focus on it. Maybe you just been like you didn't have time. You couldn't get into that creative state because there was too much going on. But because I know that you do reach that Nine of Cups, that inner harmony, you're being true to yourself here. You're creating and other people are noticing. And this literally means be your authentic self. Even if you're doing something that, like tarot, there's a lot of tarot readers out there, right? But it's saying read it in your style. Do it in your style. Don't try to be anybody else. You don't need to be. You don't need to be. And like I'm always thinking, like, how long does it take before, you reach this joyful state? And I kind of have to throw it back on you when you make that decision, when you really trust in your abilities. Like if you're leaving a job, well, you're taking your wisdom with you. And I feel like then you'll be recognized. Then they'll be like, oh my God, we lost someone who gave us more than anyone, but they didn't show it. Quite the opposite. Like, I feel like I either had a very selfish boss or the whole company was like that. Maybe it was money, 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 money. But you, I feel like it doesn't allow my creativity to be all it wants to be. I don't want to focus on just money, right? I don't want to have to meet that deadline every month. We have two threes connected, 33. And, that number follows us all the time. But what does master number 33 mean? Pure. Pure love, pure tone. And it means you're here to master something. Now, we don't have to have a master number 33 as a life path or a personal year number. It's just saying it's calling for that energy, and you already possess what it is you need. You just have to trust in that. By the way, you may end up doing something completely different. Again, it reminds me of my own life. I worked for the man and the woman for 25 years. And I was the manager, so all the responsibility did fall on my shoulders. But my dream was to work from home. And here I am, working from home. Strength card. And the King of Pentacles. Now, this is not the same king. Um, and I know that. How do I know that? It's one of those things, you know what you know. You don't know how you know, but you know it. Well, I know how I know it. It's my spirit guides putting it, telling me that. Um, but I feel like someone's going to inspire you. Like it could be an offer. I want to go below that because I feel like someone may offer position. Like I can see this person being a banker and you going to him and be like, I have this dream. I want to build a business. I need financial help. Okay. So what I mean by that is, it doesn't have to be like a bank loan, but I feel like this king is here to help. Knight of Cups, unexpected couple fulfillment again. But this time it's in your money. So how beautiful. You not only had it in your love, you also have it in your money. That's what the Three of Cups is. It's you celebrating something you didn't really expect. But I have a feeling your soul did. That Ace of Wands, it is the inspiration, but it's also action. Don't forget that. It's like your guides will put those moments of inspiration within you, but then it will take your action. Page of Wands, my risk taker. Interesting, Page of Wands is mirroring the Page of Cups. And you know what I feel like? I feel like, I definitely feel like you've been disrespected. I feel like, I don't feel like you're getting, like you're earning what you deserve. Um, I feel like you are dealing with other people's drama. And for whatever the reason, like, I just don't feel like you're being appreciated in the way that you should be. Because I feel like you bring so much to the table. But listen, this resistance that you've been feeling, it may be so that you finally make your own dreams come true. You do take a chance. On who? You. And what does that do? It brings you fulfillment. So, how beautiful to have fulfillment in love. And listen, both of them spoke about the hardship first, but that's real life. So, my risk taker, looking right over at that Knight of Cups, like, I accept whatever it is. And because the Knight of Cups is connected to that Ace of Swords, or that Ace of Wands, which is connected to your star, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Oh, okay, I'm getting a clear picture here. Hello, Will. Hello, Destiny. And it's mirroring the Eight of Cups. Look who's in the upright. The Empress. And you are not going to believe this. The Emperor. Now, statistically, at my table, our table, how often do they come out together? Very seldom. But here they are. And I said that I felt that your love and money were going to be connected in some way. Some of you may not only be falling in love, but you may be working together. The wheel, your destiny, the Knight of Cups. And it being mirrored by the Emperor. The Emperor is someone we can look up to. I often feel the Emperor is a business owner. Now, the difference between the Empress and the Emperor, they're very like-minded, but the Emperor is a lot more methodical. But I feel like they can really balance each other out because the Empress is more, I go by the seat of my pants. If I feel it, I do it. Put them together now. You want to talk about success. And let me tell you, both of them care about their fellow man and woman. Both of them. And I'm not surprised to see the wheel because we saw past lives. This is high vibrational. Wow. Your creativity is being illuminated. And for some of you, it's something that you have put on a back burner and maybe you had no choice, right? Because you were dealing with so much. But now it feels like the energy is becoming lighter and lighter and lighter and clearer. Everything is telling me, take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on yourself. And you might not only be falling in love, but you might have just found the perfect person to work with. Because they have love. And if anyone's going to take a chance, a risk, they will. Why? Because they trust their intuition like gold. You can't try to tell them something that's not true and tell them it's true. They'll know. You cannot pull the wool over their eyes. That doesn't mean they're hard. They're not. They're the opposite. They're very empathetic, compassionate. Like, if there's any type of healing, helping others, this is what they're perfectly suited for. Some of you, you're taking your own experiences and maybe helping others with that. This wheel, it is your destiny. And this Three of Pentacles, that is your creativity. It's your authentic self. And being that authentic self. Gemini, and I know this won't be for everyone, but let's say you don't like we don't decide to start a business together. Or maybe one already has one, is like, I invite the Empress in, or the Emperor, or the Empress invites the Emperor in. Kind of like how I just invited Sam in to do a podcast with me. And now we're going to continue. But we're going to talk about it's really, I'm leaving it up to you guys. Like, whatever you want us to talk about, we're going to talk about. Because he really loved doing it, and I was surprised. So, we're going to keep it up. And I'm saying that because that's what I feel here. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. Does God have the perfect solution in sight for you? It's all over your reading. The Emperor and the Empress, let me tell you. They both have learned not to regret. Because if I haven't experienced that, then how can I help another through that? They are of what I call higher vibrational energy. But listen, it's reachable for all of us. And I just feel like, and with the perfect person. A clue may be also that this emperor could have a lot of degrees. But yet I feel like what I really do is help. They both love helping to lift others up. And that may be what they do together. I just feel like, Gemini, don't let anything stand in your way of what how you want your life to be, to look like. See it in your mind's eye. Be it. Be it be it into existence. Speak it into existence. but you got to be ready at the same time, right? You've got to be willing to do what you need to do, but you already know that. Like I can't tell you what you have to do because I feel like you know that. But my God, thank you. These two, they're going to have love. I don't think that, well, I was just about to say, I don't think they've ever experienced before, but they have in a past life and the life before that. Doesn't mean they always came together, but maybe that was their goal in this lifetime. Maybe something did come in between them in a previous lifetime. That this lifetime, we're like, nope, we're going to find a way. We're going to find each other. And I don't feel, I guess it could be any age group, but there's a real maturity here. But you can be young and be mature. But I think what I'm trying to say here is sometimes we do have to go through loving different types of people so that we truly know what it is we want. And then watch it manifest. You know, you do have to take action. I feel like I have to say that. But I also feel that you're going to be inspired first. Something does have to come to completion. But my God, with the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands, how could I not want that to come to completion? The only thing that I feel that would stop it is the uncertainty of what's next. But again, I feel like many of you, there are gifts that you already possess. And now you're honing them in. And let's just say, like, I feel like the Emperor and the Empress are master teachers. So you can call yourself the master teacher. But you can't become a master teacher without experiences. And I guess all I'm trying to say is if we try not to regret and look at it through a different lens, a spiritual lens, what has each, let's say 9 years, what has each cycle taught me about myself? And then use that to your advantage. Holy cow. All right, I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let that be. I love that the star and the wheel are here. But look at this line, by the way. All connected. Your destiny, the world, the next chapter. But I do feel like in the world, it's for the rest of your life. And the star. We should have started at the star. Or maybe the wheel. Who cares? Who cares? It wants to manifest. And it wants to manifest because it's part of your soul's calling. All right, I'm going to let that be. Here's that love that Spirit said was going to follow us into money and career. It did. It did. But really, I'm even surprised. All right, I'm going to let that be, or it's going to be so long. I love you guys. I feel so happy for you. You know, I don't do this. I don't do tarot readings just to do tarot readings. When it holds no value for me anymore, then I'll stop. When I no longer care about who I'm reading for, then I'll stop. but I do care about you guys so much. You are my soul family. And this is why I want the very best for you. And so do your guides. But you have to want it also. And when you do, and you're willing to put action behind that, hang on to your hat, baby. Hang on to your hat. I love you guys. I thank you so much. Happy New Year, by the way. I should have said that in the beginning of the reading. Happy New Year. What a way to open up this new 9-year cycle, Gemini. Wow. I'll see you next time. Bye bye. Look, your reading doesn't want to end.